This is the review of the 2024 Acura ZDX. This is Acura's first electric vehicle in the United States. The rear-wheel drive version of the ZDX starts at $64,500. For our test program, we bought an all-wheel drive 2024 Acura ZDX A-Spec, which starts at $68,500. The only option on our ZDX was Blue Abyss paint for $600. With the $1,350 destination charge, our ZDX came out to $70,450. Since the ZDX is built by General Motors in the United States, no matter if you lease or buy it, it qualifies for the $7,500 federal tax incentive that was in place at the time we shot our video. The ZDX is built as part of a joint electric vehicle program between Honda and General Motors. So while it shares GM's Ultium platform with the Cadillac Lyriq and Chevrolet Blazer EV, because it's Honda's luxury brand, the ZDX shares a lot in common with the Honda Prologue EV. The ZDX is 6 inches longer than the Honda, but that's mainly due to styling. The key dimensions of wheelbase, width, and height are the same or within 1 inch of the Honda. The base ZDX A-Spec version is available with rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, but the Type S and Type S Performance versions only come with all-wheel drive. According to Acura, all ZDXs use a 102 kilowatt-hour battery. The all-wheel drive ZDXs have 2 motors, one driving the front wheels and one for the rear wheels. The all-wheel drive A-Spec, like the one here that we bought to test, makes 490 horsepower and has a 304-mile range. Both of the Type S versions produce 499 horsepower and have a range of 278 miles on a full charge, according to Acura. Of course, driving range and charge times are key questions all EV buyers have. Big batteries may provide great range, but they do take a long time to charge. The ZDX has a 190 kilowatt maximum acceptance rate for DC fast chargers, which is better than the Honda Prologue. Acura claims all ZDXs can go from 20% state of charge to 80% in 42 minutes. All these figures depend on factors including charger output, battery condition, and outside temperature. Of the vehicles on the Ultium platform, the ZDX takes the long hood and pushback cabin to the extreme, with the prominent calipers and Pentagon grille up front. Add in the Z-shaped headlights, and the ZDX kind of looks like its Acura siblings. Kinda. Plus, it's refreshing to see that it has manual door handles instead of flush-mounted ones that pop out electronically. So if you're used to Acura interiors, this is going to look a little bit weird because it's basically GM controls and switches. So when you climb in, the focal point of the interior really is the 2 big screens up front. Now they're not linked like in the Blazer EV and the Lyriq, which is kind of nice. What's also nice is that there are physical controls for the climate system. So they have buttons, nice knurled knobs, and everything can really be handled through the buttons here. In fact, I've only found it necessary to go into the climate system to hit sync in case my wife or a kid in the front seat happens to change the passenger side temperature control. So the infotainment system is basically GM's system, which is a Google-based operating system, but has an Acura skin on top of it, very similar to what's in the Honda Prologue as well. This means that you get much more simple-looking controls, a more streamlined look and feel. Also means that you get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay capability, which is not available in the General Motors vehicles. While the center screen is an 11.3-inch diagonal display, we do like the fact that it has a volume knob for the audio system, but everything else when you have to adjust, say, toggling on a playlist, choosing an audio station, going from radio to XM to a playlist, all that has to be done through the screen. There are controls on the back of the steering wheel, again, a GM product that allows you to change the volume or go up and down in your playlist. But aside from that, everything's in the touchscreen. One thing that can be kind of unnerving with EVs is that they basically are either on or off without a button. For example, you open the door, get into the EV with the key, and the car turns on almost. And then when you're done driving, you put it in park, get out of it, close the door, and the EV shuts off. That could be a little strange to walk away from a car that you haven't actually turned off. What we like about the ZDX as well as the Prologue is that they actually have a power button that you could turn the car off, and you actually turn the car back on in a traditional way. The big letdown with the interior is that it really doesn't match the ZDX's $70,000 price. Now it does have some nice features, some nice trim. For example, there's leather on the dash, there's contrasting colored leather and stitching on the center armrest. The seats are nicely bolstered, they have some nice little inserts. The door panels have leather, different color leather on the upper parts as well as the armrest. That all looks really nice. There's also some chrome trim both on the climate control knobs as well as along the dash and even on the air vents. All of that fits the price of the vehicle. But after that, it's pretty much a carbon copy, well, actually a plastic copy of the GM vehicles. For example, you have the same hard plastic center console here. You have the same plastic surrounds on the dash. You also have the same switch gear. So the gear selector on the right side, the stalk for the turn signals, as well as the front and rear wipers on the left side. Even the steering wheel is out of the GM parts bin with the same buttons on the side, the same buttons on the back, and just the Acura logo in the center. That even extends down to the doors where you have the GM parts for the window switches, mirror controls, and the seat memory. Overall, none of these pieces really match other Acuras in terms of quality. One standout feature of the front of the ZDX are the seats, which are far better than those in the Honda Prologue. The ZDX seats are really nicely contoured. They have soft, supple leather, nice bolsters for the bottom seat cushion as well as the back cushion. We like the fact that they come with four-way adjustable lumbar, and you can adjust the leading edge of the bottom cushion for tilt. So you could raise or lower it depending on how much support you want underneath your legs. Overall, they're really a great place to spend some time. The back seats are a similar improvement over the Honda Prologue. Just like every Ultium vehicle, the ZDX has a ton of rear legroom. 6 feet and a half, you're gonna find a lot of space back here. The seats have similarly supple leather, better contouring, though it's not nearly as aggressive as the front seat. There's still some bolsters on the back to keep rear seat passengers in a little bit better than the Honda Prologue. There's also decent headroom up here, even with the panoramic sunroof. One thing that some testers found was that the bottom cushion didn't provide quite enough underleg support for their comfort, but it wasn't a universal finding. Overall, you'll be comfortable in the back seat for as long as the trip takes. Out back, the ZDX has a pretty wide, square cargo space opening. Once you open up the power liftgate, you're greeted with a relatively low load floor, a big square, wide storage space that's great for luggage for 5. You can also lower the 60-40 split rear seats from the cargo area. This expands the cargo area to a very generous size for long items like a bicycle, skis, stuff from a big box store, whatever you need. The one thing to keep in mind, it's not exactly flat, but it's not a total loss. It's not a weird angle. You're not going to worry about things not being able to lie down and slide around. Plus, in addition to folding the seats down for the big flat cargo area, you can hide some stuff underneath the cargo floor in this deep well. The ZDX comes standard with a ton of driver assistance and active safety features. All ZDXs come standard with forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, blind spot warning, rear cross traffic warning, lane departure warning, lane keeping assistance, and adaptive cruise control. Of note, the Type S trims get the hands-free cruise system, which is a rebranding of GM's Super Cruise hands-free driving assistance system. And lane centering assistance is only available on the Type S as well. That's the review of the 2024 Acura ZDX. For more information on the ZDX and other EVs, go to consumerreports.org.